let's start from the word. What is education? You have been a teacher for a very long time, so definitely you should understand the difference between what people say that education is and what education actually is.
Yeah, the word education is very wide,
Okay,
is very huge and paramount.
okay,
Uh, from the beginning of the world, we start with education.
okay,
Before I go into the definition, I want everybody to know that education is just a word.
okay,
So education have been historically gotten from our ancestors, which is towards the ancient time
okay,
that was before Christ and
okay,
after Christ.
okay.
So from the beginning of the world, there is education till today and the day that the world entirely is going to end.
Wow.
So let me burst into the main definition of education.
Okay.
Education literally means accusation
Okay,
of knowledge.
okay, accusation of
Yes, accusation of knowledge and impacting of knowledge. It's two words that guide that particular word,
Okay.
education.
Okay,
If you Google it or you make some research, you see that education is
okay,
so knowledge, anything that you're going to acquire, the act of acquiring or impacting that knowledge is called education. That's
Okay.
just it in brief,
Okay.
in a nutshell.
okay,
And again, you see, education is very wide. This is a very wide topic, which if
Okay.
we are going to if we are going to sink inside the education lecture for today, I don't think if 2 hours, 3 hours is going to be enough for us, but
Yeah.
we're going to make it in a nutshell, in brief.
Okay.
But we're going to make it very comprehensive.
Okay.
So the formal education is the education that people go to school. You understand?
Yeah.
People goes to school or a particular gathering where it comprises of a teacher with a scheme of work
Okay.
with his students,
Okay.
sitting down in a class both practically and theoretically,
Okay.
teaching them about a specific knowledge. It can be of anything, any type.
Okay.
So that is a formal education that has a sequence of hierarchy from the principal or the rector,
Okay.
you understand, down to the junior lecturer or the junior teacher.
Okay.
In school, in a particular organization. That's a formal education.
Alright.
Then we have the non-formal. You can put it in a two form, either non-formal or informal education. So that education is just the education that we acquired between our own peer groups.
Okay.
That's one. Secondly, the education that we acquired from watching TV, the education that we acquired maybe from traveling,
Okay.
the education that we acquired from, I made mention of peer groups, right?
Yes,
which
yes,
is friends,
yes,
and
Yes,
age mates and the rest.
Yes,
so those education is not written in a book.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
Even interaction between between friends is also education that you are getting from any knowledge. Because as I said earlier,
Yes, sir.
Education and knowledge is one of the same thing. Is one of the same thing. So don't get yourself confused. So any knowledge you acquired, if it is not in school or a particular organization that they have a teacher or a lecturer, that education is informal or non-formal.
Okay, but it's still education.
It is still education.
Okay.
You understand? The education that
if the knowledge is gotten and it was not applied, is that education? Because now there's a difference between you getting to hear a particular thing, getting to be told a particular thing, but you did not practicalize it. Like what you see nowadays, you discover that, okay, in school they teach them how to write letters, and after university you just find some that cannot even sit down and write a letter.
Wow.
formally.
Yes.
So what do you have to say? What's your take on this education stuff? Does it mean that education has to do with after the learning, application of the information before the person can be said as the person is educated? Or what's your take on this matter?
You know, it's very difficult to say. Sorry, excuse me.
It's fine.
The problem, I think, behind the deterioration of education and standard in Nigeria, I think
Okay.
there are plenty people that are to be blamed. Number one is the teacher. I'm going to details.
Okay.
Yes, the teachers are to be blamed.
Oh.
The students are to be blamed.
Oh.
The parents are also to be blamed.
That's very serious. Okay.
And lastly, the government too are also to be blamed.
The government.
So, yes. Okay. So now let me explain
Okay.
it in details.
All right. Thank you.
I said the teachers. The reason why I made mention of the teachers are in the first place.
Okay.
The number one in my option list is
sir.
Because they are the backbone of the deterioration of education in Nigeria and standard. I know what I'm saying because I have more ideas and knowledge about teaching because I taught for several years.
Yes, sir.
Teachers of nowadays, majority, I'm not going to say all, but 75 to 70% of our teachers
Yes, sir.
are into education because of the small incentives that they will pay them.
Whoa. That's serious. That's serious.
Yes. Some of them is just the money.
Wow.
Because if you call yourself as a teacher, you have to sacrifice.
Surely.
You have to sacrifice your time.
Surely.
In fact, even financially, let's assume a student perform great.
Mm-hmm.
You will not just look at him. You understand? You will not just look at him and say, okay, well done. No, you give him that incentive. That's more vital role in his academic career because anytime he reasoned or he remembered that small gift you give to him, it will boost his morale and again he will be more serious with his studies. That's one. Secondly, there is differences between I am educated and I get knowledge of teaching. It's two different things.
Please.
You can never be a teacher.
Yes, sir.
You understand? You can never be a teacher if you don't comprises of these two things that I mentioned. Number one, you have to know what you're teaching.
Okay.
You have to be academically sound.
Okay.
That's one. Okay. Secondly, you have to know the ethics. You understand?
Ethics.
The ethics, which is the how to teach.
Okay.
When to teach.
Okay.
Who to teach.
Okay.
And how can you impact that knowledge to those your students.
I hear that.
Very, very important.
Yes, sir.
Because you cannot just come and tell me there are plenty people that have the idea can teach. Sorry, that knows the book.
Okay.
They knows book.
Okay.
They are academically sound.
Yes, sir.
Anywhere you ask them a question.
I hear that.
But for them to impact that knowledge, you don't have that idea.
I hear that.
So that means if you're academically sound,
yes,
and you cannot deliver, you cannot give, you cannot teach to that student, you are not allowed to even be called a teacher. You are not a teacher.
Wow, that's loud. That's sound.
No matter how educated you are, if you don't know how teaching itself is another profession. It's another education itself.
I hear that.
In Nigeria, I think we have NCE, we have B8 if you go to university line.
Okay, sir.
Those B8s, if you are going to study education in the university, we call it B8. So that B8, they will teach you everything that you're supposed to know in terms of teaching as a teacher, how to teach. That's in university line.
Yes, sir.
Then in NCE line, which is the teaching line, we have the NTI, which is the Nigerian Teachers Institution. We have the NCE.
Yes, sir.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
All those are agency, or let me say an institution
Okay, sir.
that they teaches students.
Okay, sir.
Let me just generalize. Everybody is a student, no matter how old you are. Once you go to school,
yes,
to
sir,
learn something, you are a student.
So those that is not in school and they are still learning, they are not students.
A student is anybody that goes to that. Like, don't get it twisted.
Okay.
You understand?
All right.
You are being called a student,
Okay,
or a tutor,
yes, sir,
or a pupil
yes, sir.
if you are learning something. Anything you are learning, you're a student.
Yes, sir.
So that means, what I'm talking about is age. You know, some people will say, okay, because I'm big, I cannot call myself a student. No, I'm just talking about age differences.
Yes, sir.
If you like, be 150 years.
Amen.
Years.
Amen.
If you go to school to learn, you are a student. That is what I mean.
I hear that.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
So that teaching itself, you have to go to school.
Okay.
Learn.
Yes, sir.
That knowledge of how to teach,
yes, sir,
aside of the idea you have,
yes, sir,
based on your academic field.
So you go to school to learn and unlearn based on the particular field.
Yes.
Okay.
And again, come back and learn on how to teach. That's why I said the problem we are facing in Nigeria is of four.
Okay,
four
sir.
people are to be blamed, and everyone has his own sector.
Yes, sir. You've explained teachers.
Yes, so that teacher, yes, I will keep on emphasizing on that teacher, because teachers are the backbone of education in Nigeria.
Okay.
Once they are corrupt,
everywhere,
everything is corrupt.
Wow. Oh, so most of the challenges we're facing in Nigeria
is from the teachers. They don't know how to. Some of them don't know how to teach.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
They don't know how to teach.
Yeah.
I mean, pardon. They don't know how to teach. That's one. Secondly, some people don't have the enthusiasm of teaching.
I hear that.
When I say enthusiasm, I mean they don't have the passion. They don't have the prestige. They don't have that feeling, that spirit of teaching.
Desire.
You understand? To teach. Once you don't like what you're doing, definitely you cannot deliver
on it.
I hear that. Very, very important.
I hear that.
You know, as at in the early 1960s, 70s, I could remember very well. There is one of my mentor, Dr. Alhaji Yusuf Tamasule, late. Sorry, he's late. May his soul rest in perfect peace.
Amen.
He made mention, and I quote. He said, "As at that time, for you into the teaching profession is an honor.
Whoa!
It gives people prestige.
It was an honor.
It is an honor because it gives people prestige.
Wow.
It's just like you being said in Nigeria like this for now, as this present situation that we are. Then they now point at you that you are a senator, or you cannot be ashamed to call yourself a senator
of Nigeria.
That is what happened in the olden days during 60s, 60s, 70s.
Wow.
Because they are the highest paid people.
Whoa.
Even check it. But now teachers are least paid. That's for the government problem that we are going to discuss later. Maybe in the next 15 minutes or 10 minutes thereabout. So teachers, number one, as I said, they are not academically sound. If you are not academically sound, you cannot deliver.
Surely.
That's one. Surely. Secondly, they don't have the zeal, the prestige, the spirit to teach.
Yes, sir.
It's not there.
Whoa.
So how do you expect me to teach?
Surely.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
And thirdly, laziness. Laziness is number one problem that we are facing in Nigeria. Based on, if we are talking about teachers, some of them are lazy. Even the scheme of work or whatever scheme of work, your lesson notes, your lesson plan, some don't. Nothing concerns them with that. Maybe because how I usually do during our time, I used to write my lesson plan immediately after school vacate.
Wow.
That means I'm going to plan for next term.
Whoa. So
if we reach that term,
yes, sir,
I don't have any problem to be how can I even start? I will not be stressing myself, suffering myself on how to write lesson plan or whatever.
Wow.
So that thing is another is disease or an illness that is in the sector based on teachers' level.
Wow.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
So second one is the pupil.
Whoa. Okay.
So now let's go to pupil. That's the second part that I'm going to explain.
Okay, sir.
So pupil, what's the blame part of the student?
Yes, sir.
Student of nowadays, we are lazy. Let me generalize it.
Okay. Okay.
Majority are lazy.
Wow.
What's the meaning of lazy? Now, as social media have become universal.
Okay.
No matter how remote village is, you see a smartphone.
Surely.
Read scriptures. They used to read encyclopedias.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
So, but now it's not anymore.
Yes, sir.
Because of social media.
Yeah.
This social media is also part of the problem, the challenges. But there is a reason why I did not put it inside, because it is both a blessing and a curse.
So whatever you do with it is your choice.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So now students engage themselves in chatting.
Okay.
All this social media of a thing, you see a student of secondary section engage himself in TikTok, Twitter, whatever, all those kind of social media.
Yes, sir.
They are not good at that level.
Okay.
To me.
Yes, sir.
To me, or let me use myself.
Yes, sir.
Me personally, if I have child, I'm not going to issue him phone while he is in secondary school level.
Okay.
I will leave him until he reach high institution.
Okay.
Because a child from that nursery section to that his secondary section,
yes, sir.
From his nursery to secondary section,
yes,
you are coaching him. You are a coach. You understand? So when he reach once he reach that high institution, as at that time you are not going to force him, you now become his friend.
Yeah.
So even if you have already taught him
the
good characters, the virtue.
Yes, sir.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
Tell me, if you become his friend, if he's in high institution, he will respect you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because you have given him that good moral.
Yeah.
So now we are still on the students. Students don't used to read because of social media, because of smartphone. That's one. Secondly, parents. That's another problem for parents. Okay. They don't force their children to read. Their children to do their homeworks. Their children to study. They don't.
Yeah.
We don't have this kind of I don't care attitude. Parent of nowadays.
Yes, sir.
Indomie generation. You see a girl of 2000. Sorry, but normally you see majority of
work. That's what he's saying. Do your job. You're a parent.
I'm not saying that. I'm not pointing a finger on the year.
Yeah.
But you see that a girl of 2005, 2004, 2006. Majority of them, mostly in the north, they are getting married.
Yeah.
So before you get married,
yes, sir.
Before you marry any girl,
yes, sir,
you're supposed to know and check whether if that woman is academically sound.
I hear that.
Because your mother is your first teacher. That is where we are talking about education. Don't forget.
Yes, sir.
Children get their education first from their teacher, from their
parents,
mother. Yeah. Which is their parent.
Yes, sir.
But mother in particular.
Okay.
Because to a child.
Yes, sir.
Very important. Please take note of that. Now rest. It used to confuse our head. Yeah. Please make sure before you as a parent, before you go into marriage, make sure that you check. You do your thorough investigation of that woman, that lady that you want to marry. Don't allow love to confuse you.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes,
go
sir.
deep.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's that. So now, still on the children,
yes, sir.
On the students.
Yes, sir.
Students engage themselves in malpractice.
Okay.
Because they know that if they do not pass, they will fail.
Yes,
and
sir.
if they fail, they will be repeated.
Yes, sir.
So they will not engage. That malpractice is another problem that is disturbing our
society.
Academic sector is being vandalized, is being corrupt,
yes, sir.
Is being routinized by that malpractice. I think during my project, that's the point I take. Yes, and I wrote my project on exam malpractice. I have it here.
Wow.
So I think there is a copy. I want to make a soft copy of
Okay.
it. Probably I will upload it online.
Okay.
But through the help of my my
Your
colleague
host.
here, my host
Yes, sir.
is going to lead you to the way you can drop a message to him if you need the soft copy. It's free. I don't know the way we can do it. We are going to discuss.
It will actually come up with a book on that.
Yes.
The book is already ready. He will upload it. So
Yeah.
in the 2 weeks or thereabouts, the book
Yeah.
will be up.
So
So
you
we
can-
can all download and possibly go.
Yeah.
$1 is not much.
Yeah, sure, $1. You can pay, but if you pay $2, $3 for a book, it's like
That
free.
will impact you.
It's free.
Yes, sir.
Because me like this, if I buy book, no matter how much I bought it, it's free. That's why I make that word free.
Yes, sir.
Because no matter how big you use your money and buy book, that
Yes, sir.
that will elevate you, make you
That will edify you.
Yes. So that one is not a loss.
Yes, sir.
It's a profit.
Yes,
so
sir.
it's a free.
Yes, sir.
That's why I make that word free. So if you want it, you can just chat him up, send your details and everything. Then from there, you will know how you can get the soft copy of the project of my exam malpractice. So apart from the student, I made mention of parents. I've already said it all. Parents don't used to check their children homeworks now. They don't used to force them, because them too, they are not forced probably by their parents to do the right thing. So how do you expect she was not properly raised to raise a sound?
How do you expect she that was supported to do malpractice to now come and
you see, it's another. See, the problem, but all of us knows it. No repeating it, but we all knows the problem.
Yes, sir.
And I'm going to discuss the remedy, the panacea to this ill that we are facing.
Okay.
Very, very important.
Yes, sir.
So the parent again, they have this kind of I don't care attitude. See, I'm proud of my parents.
Okay.
My father did not go to school, but he promised himself that his child
must
is mandatory, is compulsory,
yes, sir.
that he must learn.
Yes, sir.
So, and his dream come true. He uses all his money. He used to borrow money to pay my school fee. That is a good parent. You can do like that.
Yes, sir.
And anything anything the children becomes,
yes, sir,
you are getting old, they are the one to help you.
Deep truth.
They are the one to help you. Tell me, if they are not academically sound, they become terrorists. They will become agueros. They will become, notorious people in the society that used to check their
a lot of blessings, and I've been so inspired by him. Today I said he must definitely get to my own audience and also say some things that will actually be life lifting, and things that will just keep them better and help them stand better and run faster in their journey of life. So today I'm so happy to be here with he calls himself Baba Iyedi. Baba Iyedi. Well, I am a little bit interested. What's the meaning of Iyedi?
Actually, the name Iyedi was emanated from school.
Okay.
And some friend of mine.
Okay.
And that time, I think I played a role of father to some of my colleagues. That word Baba, I think, is a Hausa word. I know some other languages use the word Baba as a father.
Okay.
So the kind of fatherly advice I'm giving them, and the kind of mentor I put them through. So they call me with Baba, that means a father. Then the